All right, let's do one more video before I skedaddle for today. Let's go ahead and talk about how to set up our labs, or actually our target machines. We have our penetration testing distro, which is Kali Linux, which is our attacking machine. We now need to set up some target machines. Now, yes, we can use, there are a couple options out there for you guys to use. Hack the Box is a fairly good option for those of you guys who might not be able to host guest operating systems on your laptops, be it for resource issues like you don't have enough RAM, your CPU is not fast enough, et cetera. You can't run multiple VMs at the same time. Whatever the case may be, hackthebox.eu might be the option for you guys. We'll explore that a little bit later down the road once we get up and running here. But as of right now, let's talk about setting up our own penetration testing lab inside of a virtualized environment. That virtualized environment being VirtualBox right here, and then we'll go ahead and set up two different types of boxes for our CTS, or capture the flags, also known as our targets. So if you go on over to vulnhub.com, that is vulnhub.com, you will see here. You will see something effective like this. Now let's go ahead and download, let's go ahead and search for metasploitable. And this is the one we're going to need, metasploitable 2. Let's go ahead and download this file. It is going to come in a zip format. It is going to be in a VMDK, not an OVA format. So there's going to be a little bit more to, I guess you can say, a little bit more to installing it in VirtualBox than just double clicking. Go ahead, just pick whatever version you want, download it. And additionally, on top of that, just for giggles here, let's go ahead and pick up Necromancer, which is another capture the flag scenario, one of my favorite ones. For those of you guys that are kind of interested in steganography, using Wireshark a little bit, and additionally on top of that, buffer overflows. It has everything for, it has a couple things for everyone. Over here, you see that there's in an OVA format, or the open source virtual appliance format, whatever you want to call it. It's an open source virtualization format. All right, so get those downloaded and meet me over here. So let's go ahead and unzip it, or unzip let's do Metasploitable 2 first. Metasploitable 2, right here, if you have 7-zip, it would be a lot easier. 7-zip, it's an icon I have over here, or it's not an icon, it's an application. I like it better than the built-in Windows decompression tool, whatever it is built in. And let's go ahead and extract it to here. Extract it to the folder that it was supposed to be at. It's going to go in here, about 2 gigs or so, decompressed. All right, great. So now that's decompressed. Let's go ahead and create a new appliance for it. Let's just call it Metasploitable. Hopefully I don't have a conflict on my system for it. Obviously it's going to be Linux, not Solaris, Linux. And it is now going to be Ubuntu 64-bit. And just let you guys know, you can just go, if you're not 100% sure, you can just look at the whatever version of Linux it is. But since I know that it's based off Ubuntu, why not? Let's make it as granular as possible. Press next. And okay, it doesn't like that name. So let's go ahead and call it Metasploitable 1 Metasploitable. Let's call it 1 Metasploitable. There you go. Memory size. We don't really need that much RAM to give to this machine. 1024 should be plenty of RAM, but ingesting, well, we could probably make it 512 in a pinch. Let's go ahead and create. Let's just go ahead and accept what it's prompting us by default. So let's go ahead and create this. Create a VDI image. Next. Dynamically allocated. Don't use a fixed size block. And 10 gigabytes seems a bit too much. Let's go ahead and say, you know what? I am going to give you 2 gigabytes. Not that it really matters. And it's dynamically allocated. You can just accept all default settings. It should be just fine. All right, there we go. It made a shell for the machine. However, the machine still does not know how to boot, and we need to replace the hard drive for it. So let's go ahead and go into the system over here. I don't need to do anything in system, in general, I should say, but in system, let's just make sure 512 processor at 1 sounds good to me. I don't need to interact with the UI for this virtual machine, so I'm going to keep it at 16. But storage, I'm going to need to change it. I need to change out this. I'm going to need to change this out into the actual VMDK. So let's go ahead and choose a virtual hard disk format. And luckily, it actually took me into where I decompress Metasploit. Perfect. Go ahead and run that there. Looks good to me. Let's see if that looks like it's all that I needed. But one more thing to change out. Let's go into settings. Network over here. We need to change out the NAT network setting. Now in here for NAT network, I have it in my pen testing lab or my pen test lab. So it would be isolated from the rest of my networks. For those of you guys that need a refresher on how to create your own lab or network, a subnet, virtual network, go and do up to the very top, file, preferences, network, and you can create your own variety of network that you want. In here it says NAT network, but I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm going to call it lab hackers lab. I'll call it hackers lab, and we're going to go ahead and, you know what, let's accept 10.0.2.0 for it. Nothing else needed except for enable the network. Let's go press OK. Press OK there. And let's change metasploitable to, in the network, NAT network. And notice here that there's new hackers lab available there. In advanced settings, not really anything required. We don't need to change. We don't need to capture any traffic from promiscuous mode from metasploitable. So it's not a big deal to change it. However, this would be something you'd allow on your virtual machine itself that you are using for hacking if you do want to sniff information. And most likely you will want that. So let's go ahead and press OK. Okay. Alternatively, on our other lab here, let's go ahead and get necromancer. I have it in this directory here. All I would need to do is just double click on it. And so since there are no kind of conflicts with the name and where I'm storing it, I am just going to go ahead and import it as is. It should take no longer than a couple seconds, depending on how fast your machine is. And towards the very bottom, you'll see that 2 machines here have been added to your network. One little change needs to be made with necromancer, and that is that its network that it's attached to is by default host only. You'll want to put in that network, and again, you'll want to put in the hackers lab as well. Okay. Now let's go ahead and boot up these 2 machines, and they should boot up and should have no problem starting. Okay. Oops. Let's get these 3 machines up and running. Okay, while they are booting up, let's go ahead and log into Kali Linux here. Now, one thing, since these guys are booting up right now, looks like Metasploitable booted up just fine, as well as Necromancer. They're both at the login screen, and we don't really ever need to see these things ever again. Let's go ahead and ensure that we are on the correct network. Let's go ahead and over to network settings here. Over in network settings, let's see, on NAT, this particular machine, Kali Linux, is on NAT. It's not on NAT network. So therefore, if I tried to communicate to those machines, it would not be able to just with this basic configuration. So again, I'm going to move it to NAT network and pick Hackers Lab over here. Hackers Lab, additionally, I am going to put this into allow VMs for promiscuous mode because I will need to sniff packets, okay? All right, let's go ahead and see if we are able to, if we have a new IP address. All right, 10.0.2.15, and let's go ahead and see if there are machines on this network, ARP scan. And for those of you guys that don't know what it is, basically an ARP scan just looks for anything communicating on layer 2 on this particular network. It's considered local host discovery. All right, so I do have 10.0.2, 10.0.4, 10.0.3, and 10.0.5 as a part of my network here. These 3 IP addresses. That sounds like it's way too many. But I am not going to complain. Let's see. Let's verify. Looks like this machine's 10.0.2.3. 10.0.2.3 is right there. And for Let's see, metasploitable. Let's cheat a little bit over here. You know what? I'm assuming 10.02.5 is not replying. 10.02.4 is, but let's take a look at, let's make sure that it is metasploitable. Just do a really quick nmap /a, because it will give me some banners that will indicate what it is. And by the way, guys, this is going to be the next video here. A little bit of scanning for in the next video. All right, let's just make sure that everything is working just fine. I'm able to scan, all that good jazz. Okay, well, it's taking a long time here, and sometimes it does take a long time, especially with the -A or application versioning there. Oh, let's see. Oh, what do you know? I did come back with some information. It is metasploitable too. So we're all up and running. Okay, so we're all up and running, and we have target machines on our network now to use. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Next up in the series, we are going to take a look at scanning, some scanning techniques, footprinting, enumeration, maybe in that order, maybe not in that order. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. That's all that I have, and it should be the very last video that I do for today. Tomorrow, I might do one, maybe in the series, maybe in wireless penetration testing. I'm not sure, but we'll get there. All right, we're getting there, guys. All the boring stuff is finally over, and we'll get our hands on the keyboard, and we'll get our hack on sooner or later. All right, peace out. Bye.